Alright, well, I'm recording, and I'm ready when you are. You in charge.
Oh, damn, you're right.
Do you have a plan?
What's that?
Do you have a plan?
I got a topic. I wouldn't say I got a plan. Alright, well. Alright, hold on. Let me stretch the pops. No plan, dude? Hell yeah! Nah, welcome back to Brawl Up Radio Podcast Club F Majigabobber. Today, I'm always your host, Super64. And we're not joined by a guest, because I guess we just don't do those anymore. And I'm joined by jGatzB.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing alright. Doing a hell of a lot better than Laz. Laz fucked up her ankle and she's been hobbling around, but I'm doing okay.
Great. How you feel about VR porn? No, I'm just kidding.
That's just the subject of the entire podcast.
That's the subject. No. But for real, today I wanted to talk about YouTube. As like I kind of wanted to go over it as a platform in general, because you'll know more about that than me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I would like to go over our favorite YouTubers.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Maybe talk to chat a little bit about their favorite YouTubers, and I'll go over the ones that I've introduced or that you've introduced to me over the years, and I don't know, maybe you've picked up one or two from me. Who knows? I don't know.
I think that sounds like a great idea, because I have picked up some from you, and yes, I do have a lot that I could say about it. So fuck yeah.
Yeah, because I watch a shitload more YouTube than basically anything else these days. Because like, I can watch Twitch at work. They've never ever said anything to me, but like, I kind of don't want to always be watching Twitch. I feel like they would be more lenient if they were just like, oh, he's on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, like I said, I've never had anything said to me, and I do occasionally watch Twitch, especially if it's like, you know, GDQ week or whatever. Like if it's just something I just really want to watch, you know, I'll watch it, whatever. But here in the past, I don't know, 6 months to a year, like I've really started watching YouTube like a lot at work. Like I'm subbed to more people now than I ever have been on YouTube, and
that is saying something. That is saying something, because you know, whenever we first kind of started Bro Up, we would run into these conversations where Chase was clearly not seeing things from my perspective, because he was like, well, I don't actually like subscribe to anything on YouTube. I follow them on Facebook, essentially. And that's how I see everybody's stuff. And so, yeah, I've definitely seen that trend shift here in the past couple of years, with you and I talking a lot more about our favorite YouTubers. Yeah,
well, what I used to be so picky about, and I'm picky about this in basically every aspect of my life, like I hate it. I don't really care about Facebook anymore. I would delete it if it weren't for the groups thing to help me organize shit. But like I used to hate it when my Facebook feed would get cluttered up with the same bullshit over and over and over. So like I would hide a lot of people. Yeah. And I had that same problem with my YouTube feed. I didn't like following people who uploaded daily, because it'd just be a fucking flood of videos, man. I was just like, I don't really care about most of these. So like I wouldn't sub to those people, and if I ever wanted to watch them, I'd just go to their channel and you know, see what they've done recently and, you know, check them out. But I kind of got over that with YouTube, and I started, you know, subscribing to people like Linus Tech Tips. They upload fucking constantly. So I'm over that, and I've got a lot of people that I'm subscribed to now.
Well, hell yeah. Do you want to start us off then, or do you want me to?
Nah, man, go.
Okay. So I've been thinking about this a lot lately because of just how much YouTube has fucking changed. You know, I've talked to a lot of people at my new job that whenever I talk to them about what I do and what my 3 jobs are, I always describe it as I have 2 real jobs and 1 fake job. And when I get to this, they will typically be the first ones to bring up that we were essentially like 3 to 5 years too late for a channel that we make. And it's like, yeah, you're right, because a lot of those people have either drastically changed their content or they got big enough that they could continue making their content even though that content isn't algorithm friendly anymore. For example, I've been following Philip DeFranco since early YouTube, and he often makes fun of his old self, but I liked his old self just fine. Like, he talks all the time about how he was kind of a cringy edgelord with his comedy, and I was like, yeah, but we were kind of in on it, Phil. Like we knew it was a bit, but I still basically get all of my news from him, and he hasn't stopped trying to be funny with it, and he hasn't stopped trying to present a different perspective with it. He's just stopped doing a lot of stuff. Like every Halloween, he would call it the Sloot Apocalypse. And he would just show pictures of like sexy costumes and stuff. And I guess he doesn't do shit like that anymore. But I am still subscribed to him. If any of you are interested in checking him out, he does a daily video, except for, I guess, on weekends, where he dives into like the big news stories of the day. And what's strange about it to me, because it is essentially my actual news source now, is how much of it is still like internet culture news. And he's just like, everybody's freaking out about these YouTubers who it turns out that they are child molesters or whatever. And I was like, yeah, they're not talking about it on like fucking CNN because it's not like a real life issue. It's just like YouTube drama shit. And I've seen a lot of channels fall to that sort of like trap of that's very marketable to talk about other people's drama and stuff like that. And there are essentially whole channels that are just devoted to talking about other channels. Like, for example, I got kind of interested in Content Cop there for a while, and I don't know that guy even makes videos anymore. What's his actual name again?
Oh yeah, he does. iDubbbz. I'm subscribed to him.
Yeah, I'm not actually subscribed to him, but there was a short period of time where I loved that shit.
Yeah, I always liked Content Cop because, like, I don't know, he seemed to be well researched and calling these people out of what they're just being assholes for.
Yes.
But now the shit I hate, I can't even think of the guy's name. He's one of the fucking biggest YouTubers out there, and he does nothing but drama. Keemstar,
yeah,
maybe that's right. Him. Keemstar or Markiplier, I can't remember. I basically hate the fuck out of both of them.
Yeah, but, I don't think Markiplier does drama videos. I think Markiplier is just a big man-child, and more power to him.
Yeah. Yeah, Keemstar I can't stand. I used to not be able to stand PewDiePie because he just made a bunch of stupid bullshit for 12-year-olds. And, like, you know, once he got big enough, he just started doing whatever the fuck he wanted. So, like, I don't subscribe to PewDiePie, but sometimes I'll get one of his videos in my recommended or something, and I'll watch it. And it's usually pretty funny. Like, I think he's become, I don't know how to put it, a better YouTuber, a more well-rounded YouTuber for, like, a super broad audience, I guess. It's the only way I really know how to say it.
It's really interesting watching content creators get big enough that they can get away with just having, like, daily react videos to memes. Like he essentially does.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, it's enjoyable to watch, but I think it's more enjoyable to watch when you're not also trying to get your own content off the ground, because then you're just like, motherfucker, you're just talking about pictures on the internet. Like, what the fuck are you
And the streamer equivalent of him, in my opinion, right now is Asmongold. Because, like, dude, Asmongold has blown the fuck up lately. Like, it happened right around the time that Ninja left Twitch. Like, I don't know if a lot of people just flocked to Asmongold or what the fuck happened, but he absolutely blew up. Like, I'm gonna check Twitch right now. All he plays is World of Warcraft. He'll occasionally play some Dark Souls, something else, you know, whatever. His main channel is always World of Warcraft, which you wouldn't think would be fun to watch, but it's his personality. He reminds me a lot of Dr. Disrespect. So he kind of, you know, puts on this persona as he streams. A lot of people just say, oh, no, that's just him. He's just an asshole. But, like, me and Colin have talked about this at length. And I think Asmongold's whole, like, my room is dirty, I'm a pigsty piece of shit WoW streamer, I'm almost certain every bit of that is completely for show.
Yeah.
Like that room that you see him in, it looks like it's like their attic or something that he streams in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure he's got so much money by now that he's bought his parents a nicer house, and he kept that house just to stream in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking convinced that's what he does.
Well,
but anyway, that was kind of
surprised.
getting off on a tangent. But anyway, he's got 71,000 viewers right now, and he's playing fucking WoW.
Yeah.
So like, like he has blown the fuck up, and he kind of watches like clips and like he'll do reviews of his subreddit and shit, and it just really reminds me of the stuff that PewDiePie does.
Yes. Oh, excuse me, Jesse. Edit that enormous yawn out, or don't. I'm not your dad. I do want to get back to that fabricated streamer personality thing later, but right now we're just talking about channels and creators that we like. So I think that it makes a lot of sense for me to go through my subscriptions in order, but that means they're not going to be in order of like when I discovered them. I'm sure that doesn't matter, and then Chase
that won't matter.
Yeah,
Well,
Chase and I will bounce back and forth too, if that makes sense.
Do you want to go ahead and jump into that, or do you want to continue to talk about YouTube as a platform?
Yeah, let's keep talking about
like-
YouTube as a platform.
Like the shit that like I'll just ask you questions and you answer me.
Okay, let's do it. Jesse, edit all this part out and edit out you saying the N-word earlier.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, definitely get rid of that.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. What's something about YouTube you hate? Okay. What's a lot of things about YouTube that you hate?
I'm just gonna fucking spitball. Okay, let's just go to I'm on my subscriptions now. Actually, no, I'm not. Okay. The default page view for subscriptions is this tiled shit, and then you have to change it to listed. Now, I personally prefer it listed because whenever I started subscribing to things on YouTube, I would go through and watch the day's content essentially. And I would typically like jump through like a watch later. I would create a watch later and click it all. I feel like there needs to be an easier way to do that. Like really just quality of life shit first. There needs to be an easy way to just be like, hey, everything that has come out since the last time I did this, let's just make it into a temporary playlist. But whenever I used to do this, it'd just be like, God, there's so much shit in my watch later that just hasn't been cleared out yet. And it comes back into what you were talking about with your feed being filled up with stuff. I also wish you could change your notification settings so that you didn't necessarily have to subscribe to a creator, but just subscribe to playlists by them.
Yeah.
Like, for example,
that's what I do a lot.
Yeah. Now, I do think that it would need a built-in system of reminding you that you're subscribed to them to try their other content. But Game Grumps had a problem before they started making other channels where they would constantly get stuff that I didn't give a fuck about. Like, before they moved that Power Hour thing, I'd be like, well, I don't give a fuck about that, And that's definitely speaking from an almost like hypocritical standpoint, because I want people who are subscribed to us to at least try all of our shit. But I think what happens to them is exactly what happens to me. If it's not what they subscribed for, they don't even see it. Like, it's literally just not even in their list. And I mean figuratively, because sometimes it is literally not in their list. And that's another thing I want to change about YouTube is just like they have shifted away from content discovery and more towards content sustainability. Like, YouTube is really trying to promote the shit out of stuff that can make them the most money, stuff that's not edgy, that is totally advertiser friendly, and whatever length they see fit. And you'll see all these comments on videos that'll just be like, I don't know why this was in my recommended, but I like it. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know why either, and I don't know that YouTube knows why. Like, I think it's just getting switched around so much that I think that the kind of content that thrives on YouTube now is so watered down, because in the early days of YouTube and of Newgrounds, we were discovering such really strange content, and it's because there was an environment that allowed it to grow naturally on its own, and now it's become samey again. So like, just all of the changes in the past decade to YouTube have really discouraged that type of content, and really the kind of content we make. So that's a big thing too. But just right off the bat, looking at this list, there's a lot to fix in terms of just the way that you take that shit in. And I still think there are a lot of people like you that don't actually use this platform per se. They just view videos on YouTube from time to time. They don't necessarily have a list of subscriptions.
Yeah, like now, like I was saying, some people who upload too often for me, or maybe if I only like one thing they do, like you were saying, I don't like the other shit they do. They will usually keep a playlist of all that stuff, and I will just favorite that playlist and go check it every now and then.
Yeah. I think something else too is, and this is almost me describing a different platform, like not necessarily what YouTube should do. But I think that it needs to be easier to sit down and almost channel flip. Like, okay, I'm going to click this Game Grumps Danganronpa video. Okay. All right. So I'm on it now. You need to be able to jump from this content to similar content in a more organized way. But right now, for those of you listening, on my up next, there's another Danganronpa video, but it's part 1. Back before they changed the way the annotations worked, you could manually set it up to where you had buttons on the screen to go forward and back in this series of videos. But now your up next is literally just the luck of the draw. Like the up next might be the next video in this series. It might be the previous one. It might be something else entirely. It might be a speech by Barack Obama. It's not guaranteed to be in any way relevant. And then below that is just shit that's tangentially relevant, like other Game Grumps videos. Like a lot of this stuff is other Game Grumps videos, a Rubber Ross video. So it's relevant in terms of being related to that creator, but I don't think that's the first place it needs to go. I think that you need to be able to go, okay, I want to see more Danganronpa content, you know? So I kind of feel like that the suggested content should feel a little bit more like that, like a swipe left, swipe right, going through the channels. So if I go up or down, maybe it's more Game Grumps content, but if I go left or right, it's more Danganronpa content. This is something I talked to Chrono about whenever we were in the process of trying to build the features for Nexus, and one of the things that was definitely not on board for early platform, and I don't know that they'll ever buy into this, I think there needs to be an easier way to find games based on creators, but also creators based on games. So like if you happen to be looking at a game like Dark Souls, if you're looking at a game like Dark Souls, you should be able to be like, hey, are you interested in buying this game? Here's 10 different creators that do content on this game. And then you find all those different people and you try new things. Another good example of a platform that does this really bad is SoundCloud. Like I was literally just on SoundCloud trying to think of mashups that we adore that I could use for alerts and stuff like that. And it is so fucking hard to find creators on SoundCloud I like, because there's like almost no recommended content system. The search is just garbage. But every now and then I'll find this big ass mashup artist that has incredible work, and it's like, how the fuck was I supposed to find this person? And to me, YouTube's the same way. Like, I know there are so many creators out there that they might not have millions of subscribers, but they have thousands and they're good. And it's just like, why didn't I know about them? Yeah, now, the algorithm's a whole fucking other beast of a mess to, untangle. Like you said, I don't even think YouTube knows how it works. Like, I'm convinced that the guy that made it is in some, like, back server room, and they don't even know he still works there. So, like, no one but that one guy knows how it works, and they're just like, it runs on ancient dwarven technology. yeah, some bullshit like that. But, like, I don't know. I don't get what I feel like is, like, super targeted stuff for things that I don't care about. Like, my recommended is pretty good. Like, I'm just going to click on YouTube right now, and I'm going to look at all my recommended stuff. Right now, it is some Dave Chappelle, because I watched some stuff at work the other day. I got some Dark Souls stuff here, because I've been looking up things for trying to get the Platinum Trophy. We got some Trash Taste highlights, which I don't really watch their highlights because I watch their actual show. And then we got some Linus Tech Tips abroad in Japan, like other shit here that I watch. So, like, it's doing all right sometimes. Let's take a look at mine. I've got some sort of titty animation. Dan says Aaron like a disappointed mother Game Grumps compilation. Resident Evil 3 remake Jill Valentine in thick jiggle nightwear PC mod. This Halo 3 Easter egg was too hard for players to solve. And watching Amy Schumer until I laugh. Like, I don't know why I have any of these. Like, I really don't.
Yeah, yours seem weird, whereas mine are pretty on point, like for what I've been watching.
I think what skewed mine, and I've talked about this in the past, is that mine have occasionally become skewed because of my job. Like, I'll be looking at streamers for Chrono Nexus, and in the process of trying to vet these streamers, it's like, oh, you like a lot of different shit. But then also, another thing that will skew that is I have recently fallen down the VTuber rabbit hole. And I feel like if there's ever a time to talk about it, this will probably be it as well.
Yeah, I want to get to that definitely, but let's try and keep all of that together because I got a lot to talk about on that.
Yeah.
But okay, so you don't like. Let's recap a little bit. You don't like the way that your subscription box kind of looks, like this whole tile.
Yeah, the way content is organized, like, and it's not necessarily even the tiles. I don't know if this is just me being a boomer, but like, all I know to compare it to is TV. And if YouTube is TV, then it's a TV I don't have the remote for. Like, I really do feel like it's stuck on one channel. And every now and then I can figure out a way to get it onto another channel. But there's so much content out there, there's not really like a guide. And you could argue, well, yeah, there is. Well, yeah, there was. Because, like, if you keep scrolling down on home, here's what I see. Okay, you got top news. Okay, I guess if I gave a shit. But then randomly, this isn't even labeled. Under the row of top news, I've got an Overwatch video, waking a sleeping rabbit by surrounding him with grapes, 8 insane video game events hardly anyone saw, and hey guys. And like, there's no like title to that chunk of content. It's just there. Then we got another chunk. It's like COVID-19 Q&As with an expert. I'm gonna be honest, if I were a normal adult human being, I might actually like having these two news themed categories for suggested content, but it knows enough about me based on my watch history that I'm not a normal adult human being. I don't need two of them. I don't need one of them. I should be able to like minimize that if I am actually looking for like suggested content. Finally, down here to some stuff that's kind of what I'm interested in. First look at Jameson and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Lightsaber versus Bank Vault, $30,000 giveaway. Chat reacts to Gargura's first words. Like, it's getting closer, but anytime I look through recommended content, I don't actually feel like I'm discovering new content. I feel like it's the platform going, so here's that clickbaity stuff that you still haven't clicked on for some reason. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to. Like, but here it is.
Yeah, and like, I've recently discovered a few YouTubers that are big that I'd never heard of, and I was just like, how the fuck have I never seen a video by this guy? Like, it's kind of crazy, but I don't know how they deal with like what you're gonna see, because like I said, a lot of my recommended is people already watch, so like there's almost nothing new here for me to discover.
Well, you know? I will say, and I know we complain about it, no platform is without sin here, but a platform that I feel like does a better job with discoverability is Reddit, because of the nature of upvotes and downvotes. And like, the way that you have a bunch of different communities within it that essentially have their own climate of what is upvoted and downvoted, so you can decide first what communities you're subscribed to, and from there the discoverability changes from section to section, but you're still getting all of that mixed in. So I feel like I get a better mix of new content from Reddit than I do from YouTube itself. And I almost wish that I could have my YouTube communities, almost like subreddits, in front of me and be able to scroll through quickly what are the top videos in each of these categories. But I don't know how well that would work, because I also kind of hate Reddit. I also know that some of these communities become so like self-obsessed that anything that's not within their perfect bubble of content is trash and you should be banned and then kill yourself, because they just don't want any part of it.
Yeah, so I like to browse Reddit. Like, I definitely love to browse Reddit, but I never comment. I don't care enough to tell anybody what I think of anything. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't bother me any. I only use it to look at shit.
I do comment from time to time, and it's almost always met with extremist response, very similar to like Twitter. But I really don't. This is kind of a more philosophical thing. I only really engage with that now as almost like a temperature check of, is my medicine still working? Because like they'll say some like really rude shit, and I'll be like, do I give a fuck? No. Okay, medicine's still working.
Okay. Well, what's something you hate about YouTube from an uploader's perspective?
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and switch to the Bro Up account. All right, so let's start with the way you manage a channel. So it used to be that you had control over whether or not a new post would show up in subscribers' feeds or not. So let's say that something happens to one of these videos. Like, I find out down the road I accidentally said somebody's last name, or maybe it does get content struck in some way. I used to be able to very easily re-upload that video and it not show up in people's subscriber feeds, so it wouldn't make people go, wait, didn't you already upload this? And then I could just set the old one to be unlisted and have a link in the description, like, here's the new one, you know. But they got rid of that feature for almost no reason. Like, I can't just upload something that's public, not unlisted, without it appearing in the subscription feed. Let's see, something else. There's this community tab here. If you have over a certain amount of subscribers, you can post to this community tab and make like text posts and image posts to your fan base. This is the most worthless piece of social media we have because it has no API. So like, or at least not a publicly available one. So I can't manage it the same way I would manage like our Twitter. And I would like to be able to post to it simultaneously as our Twitter because they both serve the exact same fucking function. It's also only really visible to people who are on their phones. Like, you don't really see these community posts when you're browsing from computer, like almost not at all. Yeah. But you see them whenever you're going down your subscription list on your phone. And I think that they're a really good way to engage with your community. You can do polls, you can do links to streams, and you can post videos, but I shouldn't have to repost the goddamn video on our text feed because they didn't see the video. Like, I also think that's another feature it needs to have. It needs to have some shit like, hey, this from this content creator you like kind of checks off all the boxes of stuff that you like, but you haven't seen it yet. Maybe you missed it, like little things like that. And then in terms of just actually uploading, so if I go in here to upload video, I'm just going to go ahead and drag in something random that I can cancel. All right, so right now I'm uploading video. I can select what playlists it goes to. They recently added this checkbox where, per the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, I am required to tell them whether our videos are made for kids. Okay, so I've got this checkbox. Yes, it's made for kids. No, it's not made for kids. Now, I've seen a lot of people bitch about this, But to me, so far, this is a good thing because they were just essentially like, well, if your video has video games and has bright colors, it's obviously made for kids. And if you curse in it, then we're deleting it. So like, I kind of don't mind this because I'm able to say every time, no, this is not for fucking kids. And it's already got that checked off for me. This is not for kids. But I am sitting here wondering, why the fuck would anyone bother to say, yes, it's made for kids? Like, it says you're required to tell us. And I think what that changes is if it's made for kids, they can't serve ads on it. But even if it is made for kids, what's stopping you from just not checking that box? And if anybody's like, but these are essentially episodes of Dora the Explorer, and you just being like, yeah, no, they're for high adults. So like I don't see any incentive to not lie on this. Do you want to restrict your video to an adult audience? No, but I do want it to fall under that category. I don't want to restrict it per se because I want people to see our videos, but I would really love for you to treat our videos as if they're rated M for mature so that you can stop demonetizing them for having curse words in it. Because that's not what this box does, right? This box just like makes it to where you can't see it unless you lie about your age. So again, it doesn't actually do the job that they want it to do.
Yeah, something I've noticed lately with some of the bigger YouTubers I watch is they've started censoring the word fuck and no other curse word. They'll still say shit, bitch, anything, but they will censor fuck every single time. And it's like a recent trend. Like, I've noticed it in the past like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, they're all doing it, and I don't know why.
It's a very fascinating case of creators are having to change their behavior not based on what the rules are, because the rules are not clear, but based on how the system is able to enforce the rules. Like, it's almost like this understood rule that nobody fights in the classroom while the teacher's looking. But the second the teacher looks away, you're fucking slinging fists. And that's not how these rules should be working. like just banning the F word, not because the platform specifically has an anti-F word stance, but because the algorithm clearly detects the F word more effectively than anything else. Like, that's a really interesting phenomenon to me, is that like all the in all these videos I've seen, all the creators want to know is objectively, what are the rules? And YouTube keeps being like, well, we're still kind of figuring it out.
Yeah, I know I told you about this back when it happened, and I think it has since been fixed. But there for a while, every time Maximilian Dude was uploading his like Mortal Kombat fights from like he'd play online on Twitch, and then he'd make a compilation video out of it. He would have to grayscale like fatalities and stuff. Like,
yeah, I remember this.
Anytime there was blood on the screen, which is fucking always, because Mortal Kombat. So like he would have to grayscale the blood every single time, or his content was getting flagged for like gore and blood, and like it wasn't showing up for anyone to watch. So they were basically like almost shadow banning it nearly. Yeah. And I just remember him complaining about that a lot, because he was just like, I don't think they understand that like this is just a video game and it's Mortal Kombat of all things. Of course there's blood in it. Are you crazy?
Yeah. And it's that tried and true problem of they're treating all the content as the same genre of content. It goes all the way back to like people in fucking Congress being like, video games shouldn't have violence, they're for kids. Well, that's oversimplifying the fuck out of it, isn't it? and same with like YouTube content. I think they're only now trying to better distinguish it, but it's a very hackneyed, backwards ass job. So here's another one. I'm on the monetization thing, and this comes back to what we've talked about demonetization. Choose how you want to earn money from your video. We always choose off. And this was a decision that we made a couple of years ago, because we don't make money for shit on YouTube. That's not necessarily something they can do anything about, because it's an ad-based revenue. Ad-based revenue has not been good, and it's not been good for decades. But we've got about $100 waiting on us in ad revenue that they just won't pay out because it's like 99 something. And then we got bad from AdSense for no fucking reason. It never told us why. So we were just like, well, fuck it. We're just going to do whatever we want. And so we have these ads turned off. Now, something that I've always been curious about is if you refuse to monetize your videos, do they even bother suggesting them? Like, I would not be surprised at all if our videos don't appear in people's suggested content because we have chosen not to put ads on them. But I don't know if that's true. That's just a suspicion.
I hadn't even thought about that, but that makes sense.
Yeah. And then there's the video elements of these end screens, which I know they changed the way they work to be more mobile friendly, but they're not really user friendly anymore. Because it's not as easy to like streamline your content in sequence. And that's what we do. We make sequential content. We don't make daily bullshit that's just like, take 𝐿𝐴LFaRad, for example. I like him, but you could start watching him now, never watch any of his old videos, and it wouldn't really matter because while his content is all fun, it's all just dime a dozen stuff. It doesn't matter if you go back and revisit anything. But our content, a lot of times the sequence matters because even if it's a non-storyline thing, it's a continuation of a series of inside jokes. So we need to be able to treat it like a series. And viewing series has not really been as simple since they changed the way the end screen content worked. And then finally, Save or Publish. This is just a nitpick, but if you're going to schedule an upload, it sets it to private, even though it's a separate box on here. So I can't have an unlisted video that I use for Patreon previews that's going to go public at a certain date. I have to have those as two separate uploads because it won't let me make unlisted videos scheduled to go public. So
that's really weird.
Yeah. It's really just a minor nitpick, but that's the way that one is. So I'm going to delete that upload now because it's actually a work video that I'm not supposed to share with people. So if it had gone public, that would have been hilarious.
Do it. You won't.
Delete forever. That's a lot of stuff that I have a problem with from an uploader's standpoint. And I guess there's the fact that scrolling down right now, 99% of our uploads are copyright claimed.
Yeah, I mean, copyright is just a problem everywhere. Like, it's hit Twitch big time in the last, 2 weeks. Like, people are having to delete, years worth of VODs. And I don't know if you've heard about this.
I absolutely have, because I keep seeing, I follow, I think his name is a Video Game Attorney on Twitter. And he retweets a lot of stuff that's just essentially people saying, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Stop using licensed music in your stuff. You're gonna lose it. It's gonna get taken down, period. And then it always makes me think about what we do, because we're not really worried about our VODs. But I gave up and started using licensed music in our YouTube videos because I'm tired of them getting demonetized for every little thing. I remember several years ago when you'd use a little snippet of a licensed song and it would get demonetized or removed, even though that's within the allowable amount of licensed content. It's fair use. But I've also watched video essays about how fair use is actually very poorly defined. So whether or not you think something is fair use or not sometimes doesn't have any bearing on whether or not you will have any legal right to use that in your artwork. So whenever we decided to take ads off, I was only considering our video getting monetized. Okay, YouTube, if I make a machinima style video that has the song Asshole by Dennis Leary in it, YouTube thinks that I just uploaded Asshole by Dennis Leary, by itself. That's all it thinks it is. And so it's all right, Dennis Leary is going to get all of that ad revenue. And from our perspective, that's not a problem. We already weren't getting that ad revenue because we were already not monetizing those videos. So ultimately all it does is sometimes it puts an ad on a video, and that money goes to, in my opinion, who it belongs to, because I can't afford to get a license to put licensed music onto my shitty little story. I just want to be able to create the art the way I want to create it and not worry about this shit anymore. But if YouTube ever decides to flip the switch and say you can't use licensed music in YouTube videos ever again, basically all of our current generation bro-op content vanishes, because I essentially reached a point where I was just tired of fucking with it, and I was like, we make content that we want and we make it the way we want it, so I'm over it. But then here recently I'm just like, but what if something happens? So I've kind of tried to have backup plans here in the past years or so of just like, if that happens, I'll try my best to like re-upload that content with some adjustments if I can make it happen. But mostly my plan is just clenching my butthole and crossing my fingers, because I have really no way of knowing. I just remember hearing YouTubers talk about it all the time, and how it was right or how it wasn't right, and how it wasn't fair, and how they were going to do all these lawsuits against YouTube. And when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter. You're at the mercy of their platform. And we would go to a different one if we could, but there's not another comparable platform. So it's messy.
Yeah. There's other shit out there like Vimeo, and that's really it. But like, I wish something would come along and be a real contender with YouTube. Just like I wish something would come along and be a real contender with Twitch. And like, we've seen people try and fail miserably, and I don't think it's going to happen with YouTube either. Like, they're both going to stay on top no matter what stupid, horrible bullshit they pull.
And that's why I hope all these alternate platforms for monetization work. That's a big reason why I'm working with Nexus still, because if their platform works the way they hope it will, I mean, there's no way you wouldn't earn at least as much money as ad revenue. Ad revenue is a fucking pittance. So like, if you got big enough that your video is turning on a bunch of people to a new game and you're earning a reasonable percentage of those sales, fuck ads. Like, if that's how it works, absolutely fuck ads, because everything about it just rubs me the wrong way. You don't have any control over what ads go on your video. So you might be making a political video where you're like, this is my explanation of all this shit per the Democratic Party or whatever, and then you get an ad on your content that's completely going against the point that you're trying to make. That to me seems so counterintuitive to content creation, because if you were a TV show, you would have control over what ads you served up and don't, and that's just a byproduct of the fact that you don't own this brand. We're essentially borrowing it. We're all just playing our videos on somebody else's brand that they have full creative control over. And, you take a look at stuff like Patreon and Nexus, who their like entire mission statement is essentially, we want you to be able to make your content the way you want to make it. But I know in the back of my head that the asterisk on that is until we get sued.
Yeah.
All right. Shakuris, talking to us in Discord chat, says the modern problem with social media is that the content creators are seen as basically free labor for the site. And when content creators try to change that, you get what happened to Vine. Yeah, Vine had a notorious problem with monetization, where the people who made all this like brilliant content, like, I really love how the creative constriction of what Vine was and how limited it was essentially created an entirely new brand of incredibly witty humor. But those people couldn't make a living off of it to save their life. And you would occasionally see sponsored Vines, but those started popping up about the time the platform was on its way out. So like, how do you help those people out in any way?
Yeah, and then TikTok came along and basically ran with that. Like, people were making like straight up careers off TikTok. Like, I didn't use it. I didn't really care about it, but like, people were straight up making stupid money off TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine most YouTubers out there, like, you know, around our size, or even if they had like 50,000 subscribers, like, I imagine most YouTubers feel the way that, like, now this is a big stretch, right? Like, I'm grasping at straws here, but like, I feel like the most of them probably feel like any, let's say, young woman trying to enter like the porn industry would feel.
Yes.
Like just being used for like little to no money. Like, you know, and maybe it's their last resort, maybe it's what they've always wanted to do, whatever the fucking case. Like, I imagine it's a similar feeling in a sense, where, you know, not quite as extreme obviously, but you know,
No, it actually, it does seem that way. But like, you know, we're still, then you have people like us. Like, I think that those are kind of your options, is that you either are just like, yes, sir, anything you want, sir, how high, sir, just please give me a chance to make any fucking money. And on the other hand, you have people like us who stand proud and are, we're not going to do what the man tells us. And then they're like, who are you? like it seems like those are your options. I will be right back. Okay.
You might not.
I might.
Not if you get by a train.
No. All right, I'm back.
All right, hang on. I'm trying to win an Xbox from Taco Bell.
Cool.
All right, here we go, boys. Yes, remember my choice. Jesus, fuck, go. Oh, I didn't win today. Like every day.
But maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. Go get that $5 box. All right, well, I guess we can go ahead and start talking about
Favorite creators
and ones you've picked up from other people, or maybe our community itself. I don't know if you've discovered anybody through these people or not.
All right, so I think that this should just be kind of a... Sorry. I think this couldn't just be kind of a back and forth. You and I can go back and forth between some of our creators that we like and start like jumping off of tangentially related stuff. But then also, I encourage anybody who's watching or listening in Discord to also mention their favorite creators. And if we miss it, don't be ashamed to just mention them again. So, Chase, I mentioned a bunch of my favorites earlier, and I might edit them in here since I'm talking about them now, or I might just say fuck it. But why don't you talk about some?
Okay, so you've probably heard me mention this a lot in the past, I don't know, 6 months. I think I discovered this channel right before COVID hit and knocked, you know, everybody to homebound for a couple weeks or months, depending on where you were. But probably my favorite person on YouTube, period, right now is Chris Broad. And he runs abroad in Japan, and he makes fucking high quality, like, educational videos about Japan. Now he also makes some goofy shit, but it's still like high quality, like mostly educational stuff. Like, he'll show you places in Japan, like lesser known places. Like, he won't always be like, oh, I'm going to Tokyo today, I'm going to show you all these places in Tokyo. Like, he'll go out in the middle of the countryside and shit and be like, here's this cool fucking temple. Like, you know, so he'll make just a ton of different videos about Japan, and they are all fan-fucking-tastic. And he's got like a whole slew of people he like collabs with, and I've basically followed every one of them. There's Chris Broad, who runs abroad in Japan. Then there's Joey the Anime Man. He does a lot of stuff with Chris, but he mostly does anime stuff, hence the name. Hold on, I'm trying to find some more. Tokyo Creative. There's Tokidoki Traveler. Like, if you watch any one of these people, you're bound to find the rest of them in your recommended, because they're gonna fucking show up. But I've really gotten into some of these. What do they call themselves? I can't remember. Japanese, like, vloggers, I guess. But there's way more than just the ones I mentioned. But those are my favorites and arguably the best ones out there. I'm pretty sure Chris Broad is the biggest one.
And I haven't checked them out for myself yet. But Chase has talked to me about them several times, and they seem pretty fucking cool. So Chris Broad seems really cool.
Yeah, and I listen to his podcast too. It's just called the Abroad Japan Podcast. It's on Spotify, anywhere you can get your podcast, really. So if you wind up liking his YouTube channel, give his podcast a shot, because he's on there all the time with oh god, what's his name? I can't think of the guy's fucking name. I listen to him every fucking week.
Dude, it happens.
Pete Donaldson, that's his name. Sorry, took me. I was just brain farting. Yeah, Pete Donaldson. He's fucking hilarious too. But anyway,
Mayo mentioned several that I've heard of. Wanderbots in particular, I think that Chrono has worked with, but I'm not sure. But I haven't watched any of these except for Game Grumps, and I think Chase and I both kind of have a really strange mixed history with Game Grumps, in that we both just fucking hated it at first. Mail says, dude, you've never seen Bro Op? No, actually, I am not like 4/5 of Bro Op who doesn't watch Bro Op.
True. The only ones I don't watch are the ones I'm not in.
So, whenever Game Grumps was first starting to get big, we only knew about them because of Egoraptor and his like Flash cartoons. And Egoraptor's Flash cartoons from his Newgrounds days are pretty indicative of our sense of humor, because they don't make any goddamn sense and they're just silly. Like, I still occasionally think of that weird aside in the Mega Man video of just like, take about 5 dozen eggs.
Oh yeah, dude, we were quoting all kinds of Egoraptor shit last night while we were drinking. Like,
yeah.
it just come up at some point, and we were just going through basically all of Metal Gear Awesome. Just line after line.
Yeah. And so, like, I didn't know about JonTron prior to that collab. And I really wasn't interested in giving them a chance, because at the time, I actually took 4chan seriously. Like, I would go to 4chan, I would learn about new games, I would see people talking, and I thought that these people knew what the fuck they were talking about. And they were constantly like, Bro Op is terrible, no, they weren't talking about Bro Op. Sorry, they were talking about Game Grumps. They were like, Game Grumps is terrible. It's stupid. I can't believe anybody would like this. And then finally, it was Ian that was like, but have you watched the Goof Troop shit? And I was like, no. And he was like, you should at least watch the Goof Troop shit. And I watched all of it. And I want you to know that it's before they got their pacing right, because in newer Game Grumps, if they get stuck on something, they skip it, which is something I wish we could do in streams. But whenever they get stuck on something that's really ruining their lives, they just like stop the recording and they get past it, and it makes it to where you can enjoy it as a passive observer. But instead, the Goof Troop playthrough was just like the downward spiral into madness, and it was actually this really beautiful slow burn, because it makes their meltdown that much funnier. Whenever John is just like, or no, it's Aaron, I think, this is like, this is it, Max.
Where we're gonna end it.
And that's all I'm gonna say about that. If you've never seen that playthrough, just try to watch the whole thing. It's gonna get to a point to where you're just like, God damn, they can't do this, can they? But just keep going.
I treat, now I don't want to get into the VTuber stuff yet, but I do treat Game Grumps the way I currently am treating VTubers. Like, I follow a few of them, but I'm probably about to have to unfollow them because they clog up my feed very bad for like 6+ hour long streams that I am absolutely not gonna fucking watch. Yeah. So like, I may unfollow them and just follow some of these highlight channels for like some of the VTubers I like, because I do like watching the highlights. I'm not gonna sit there and listen to a VTuber speak Japanese that I can't understand for like 5 hours. Like that just ain't happening. You know.
And speaking of duration, you know, Game Grumps' videos have gotten longer than the way they used to, and you know, our episode pacing used to actually be kind of based on the length of the videos they put out, because at the time we didn't know what we were doing. But I think it's working for them in that I don't really watch Game Grumps the way I used to. Like, I used to watch them sequentially, and now I just watch them when I can, when I'm eating or something. And so I will get like a 20-minute chunk of their current adventure, and that's it. I almost never actually finish a whole game with them.
Yeah.
Shakura says the reason I drifted from Game Grumps is when their titles and thumbnails became more clickbait. That is absolutely true. That they've changed the way that they're titling things. They've always got a big honking fucking face in their thumbnails now, and I understand that they're doing what they have to do. But likewise, in the true like never going viral spirit, I just recently went through and renamed all of our titles to be like the exact opposite, where it's just like, all right, the video game's name doesn't even have to be in the title. It's just like, this is the name of the series, this is the episode, like, so that people can understand what they're watching, not necessarily find it per se.
Yeah, like now if it's someone I like, I mean, me and Jesse have talked about this a lot. Like he's big on thumbnails for basically everything, and that's fine. I get that actually matters and that works. It just doesn't work on me.
Yeah.
Like I almost never click on a video because of its thumbnail. Like fucking never. But if it's someone I like Maximilian Dude, for example, I watched all his videos, and his are incredibly clickbaity. The thumbnails are always him making some goofy like reaction face, and like I just completely block that out. Like all I care about is what game he's playing. I want to watch his online matches, and I enjoy watching him.
Yeah.
So like I don't care if he's clickbaiting. It's fine. I get it. He's on that hustle. He wants the money. Like it's just gonna happen. That's just the way it is.
Okay, so you talked about Maximilian Dude. Do you want to talk more about him? Do you want to talk about another one? Because I've bitched about Game Grumps until I'm purple in the face.
Well, I mean, Maximilian Dude, he's like, I guess he's the biggest fighting game dude on YouTube. Like, I can't think of many others. There are a few others, like Aris, I think's his name, Aris. I think that's his name. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, Maximilian Dude plays. He streams on Twitch. I like to watch him, but he streams super duper late because he's a different time zone.
Yeah.
And so I usually catch him on YouTube and watch his online matches and stuff. And he loves to do react videos for like when, let's say, Dragon Ball FighterZ announces a new character. Like he'll do like a breakdown of what he thinks the character is gonna play like, just based on their gameplay, and like, you know, if they're gonna be a good matchup, and you know, he'll freak out and be like, oh my god, it's Master Roshi, you know, whatever. But yeah, I really like watching him for basically everything fighting game related, because like I've gotten into fighting games a lot more in the past few years than I ever was before. And now he's not without problems. Like, you know, every YouTuber probably does something you hate. We probably do something you hate. But he's pretty good all around, I'd say. So if you like fighting game stuff, give Max a shot.
All right, so I've seen several mentions of video essayists or similar content in you guys' lists. I know that 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐓𝐄𝐍. I know that's kind of I know that's kind of like video essays, and I want to also talk about that, in that that's one of the only things that YouTube has done successfully to recommend content to me, because video essays got really hot, and I don't think they're cooled down yet, and I'm okay with that, because
I totally agree. Now, like did you introduce me to Jakey, or did we all kind of find him at the same time?
I think we all kind of found him at the same time, because what happened was I was just binging Jakey, and then I think I heard Ian talk about him, and I was like, all right, I was going to tell you guys about this if nobody else did. And I think that we just sort of came together after that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was either you or Ian, probably.
Yeah. But so to give you the first example I actually want to talk about in regards to teaching, which is anytime I would pause for a second. If any of you who have been taking in everything about the channel through podcasts and the YouTube and haven't actually been engaged in like the Discord or anything like that, just in case you didn't know, I used to be a teacher. And this is actually part of how I would teach appropriate essay structure and pacing, was through this guy called Every Frame of Painting. And Every Frame of Painting is a series of video essays about cinematography and making movies. He has a really good one about Jackie Chan movies. And he has a really good one about oh my fucking god, cartoons. Every frame painting Bugs Bunny. That's not what it's called. Chuck Jones. Okay, so he has one about Chuck Jones. Shakura says, I watched that guy for my English class once. I have taught these two videos.
You taught Shakura.
Yeah, I know, right? I have taught these two videos. I've taught Chuck Jones' Evolution of an Artist, and I've taught the Every Frame of Painting video about Jackie Chan, because video essays, in a really interesting way, they are essay structure, what you're taught at school, but they're not shit. Like, they're actually really fun to take in, because I had never in my life heard of essays existing outside of school until these videos. Like, I didn't think people actually went out of their way to read essays. I'd heard of people reading articles and reading studies, but to me, an essay only existed in the context of teaching. But these videos that have gotten so popular, stuff like Every Frame of Painting, stuff like Captain Christian, stuff like Nikki Jakey, are video essays. But because they're video, and because a lot of times you get to actually see the creator and you get to hear him, you get to have a much greater injection of their personality and their sense of humor, and that makes it make a lot more sense. So bringing it back to Nikki Jakey, Nikki Jakey is a guy that's in our generation. He's a little bit younger, and he references a lot of our nostalgia pretty much fucking constantly. And it makes it much more empathetic. Like, I can really relate to everything that he's got to say. And he has all these really intellectual video essays, like, but intellectual in a stealthy way. Because as soon as you start watching a Naked Jakey video, you think it's just going to be Meme Lord makes jokes. And then he actually explains things in a way that make you go, shit, I didn't think about it that way. So I really love his videos, and Chase likes him too.
Yeah, somebody else like him that I've discovered recently. I know I've said this probably on stream, and a lot of chat was like, "Oh man, I didn't know you didn't know about him." But Scott the Waz, I've recently discovered him, and I fucking love Scott, dude. Oh man, his videos are fucking awesome. I've just binge his shit when I'm sitting at work, because he's got so much that I haven't seen. Because he's been around for so long, and I just found him. So like, It's just really nice. I love finding somebody and having a lot of backlog to go through.
Shakura says, Every Frame of Painting has not uploaded in 4 years. What the fuck? I forgot to tell you guys that he quit. Like, he's officially done. But that doesn't mean that you can't go back and enjoy those video essays. And that's another thing that I prefer about non-daily content creators, is that to me, those individual videos are more timeless. Like, even our shit, which sometimes if you go back far enough, it's really bad quality. Like, I still feel like it's more timeless. Yeah.
Another one that had a shitload of drama recently, and I guess he's finally gotten over it, was Pro Jared.
Yeah.
I really like his Pro Jared series, where he talks about, like, he's been going through the Final Fantasy games lately, and that's, like, right down my motherfucking alley. Like, he's been going through, like, 1 through 7. And he's currently been streaming 8, so I know that's the next video whenever he gets around to it. Now, I don't typically care for the other shit he does, but I really, really like his Pro Jared series. They're great.
Yeah. Pro Jared was an interesting example of, like, I didn't really know a whole lot about him until his controversy. And then I kind of got fascinated with how he was going to deal with it. Because I was like, so how's he going to come back from this? And he did an entire, like, deep dive into what happened and his side of the story that kind of made me go, this is such a weird platform that this is required. Like, these people shouldn't really be on trial, except if they need to be on trial. Like, if they did something criminal that needs to be behind closed doors in a courtroom, we shouldn't be involved. But because this is the court of public opinion, they essentially have to state their case just so that they can continue to make a living.
Yeah, if anyone wants to catch up on that whole dramatic thing, go to Jared's channel. Hold on, I'm just gonna find the name of it.
He explains it really well, because before he put out his video, I think everybody was on the same page that he was the one in the wrong.
Yeah, he posted, where is it? Actually, he might have delisted it. Hold on. Because he looked rough in it. Like, even the thumbnail was just like, oh, man. But, yeah, I don't even see it here. He might have delisted it.
Okay, Crab says the guy who exploited his status as a prominent internet figure to instigate sexual encounters with his fans, which is what he admits to and is still in the wrong for. From what he said in the video, he admitted to a lot of it, and the big thing that I can't defend in any way is he was like, yeah, we had like a community where people would share nudes with each other, and it's just like, I understand his perspective where it's like that's consensual, but like that's not very on brand YouTube video game, man. Like,
yeah, and I don't mean to say dude's completely innocent, but like as far as everything that was going on between him and his wife, like she had the whole fucking internet on her side, and he stayed quiet for literally like 6 months, and that like everyone was like, oh well, he won't talk about it, so clearly she's right. But like, I'm almost certain what happened is his lawyer was like, dude, you need to shut the fuck up and not say anything until I get this figured out. And that's what he did, and it worked out for him, because in that video that I can't find now, he explained everything. Like, he even had like legal documents, the ones he could show, and he had like texts and stuff. And he was just like, I'm going to go through here and I'm going to refute everything she's ever told you guys. And I'm going to prove to you that she's lying on some of it. Now, some of it's true. Some of it she's just completely fabricated. So like, I know he's not completely innocent, but like, I was like, okay, I can resubscribe to your channel now, because I know you're not like, you know, completely fucking dead forever now.
And it's interesting to me. I didn't even bring that up to defend or condemn. I just think it's fascinating that he had to do that, and that it did sort of put people at ease in a way that they could go back to receiving his content, because how do you do that? And I think that's why it's unlisted now. I think he did what he had to do to get people watching him again, and then he was like, now let me put this behind me, because I can't continue to be defined by this.
Yeah. Now he's still not up. He was real close to like I think 1 million subs on YouTube. And
Will you take a pause break for a second? I'll be right back.
Sure.
So my wife is too short to pull the light switch on the fan in the living room. So
that's funny.
All right, I am so sorry to interrupt you.
What I was saying is he had nearly 1 million subs, and then all this shit happened, and I think he dropped down to like 600,000 or 700,000. Yeah. And I'm like you said, I'm still fucking amazed he's recovered from this. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, this would have ended basically anyone else's career, I think. But it worked out for him, and now he's back up to 889,000 subscribers. So like, I think he'll still hit 1 million, but it's gonna be a lot harder for him, you know, from here on, because a lot of people said fuck him, I'm not coming back, and they still believe his wife. You know, whatever, blah blah blah.
To go in a completely different direction, and this is one that you guys, if you watch food videos at all on the internet, you're probably familiar with. But binging with Babish is pretty good. Yeah,
now that's one Jesse definitely introduced me to, is binging with Babish. I motherfucking love Babish back when he was actually kind of smaller.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how many subs he had at the time, but like he would take community suggestions on what to do next, and you just email him. And he doesn't do that anymore because he's fucking humongous now. But I emailed him, and he actually replied to me, and I was like, holy shit, cool. But he didn't cook what I asked him to, but he did reply to me, so I thought that was really neat.
One thing that's, let me explain real quick what essentially his channel is. It got started from him recreating shows from TV and movies, and then as he got bigger, he started sort of branching out, and he has essentially 3 series, if I'm understanding this right.
He just introduced a new one.
Yeah, because he has Binging with Babish, which is his recreating food from shows and TV stuff. He has Basics with Babish, which is actually just literally the basics of making food, because it used to be if he just wanted to make just bread, that he used to have to try to justify that within the context of some movie. And so now it's just like, no, I can just make bread. And then he had like a real life show that I haven't seen him upload in a while, where it was like Living with Babish or something, and he just started doing something with this girl named Sola, and I don't know who she is. If there was a video
explain that a little bit.
Okay, please do, because I have no idea who this woman is.
She worked for another food YouTuber, and they basically got busted for a bunch of horrible shit, and he felt super bad for her because like they found out that she was being like super duper underpaid compared to everyone else.
Fun.
And like I think that whole YouTube channel got taken down. I don't even know the name of the other channel. I can't remember. But since she was, you know, I don't know what ethnicity she is, but anyway, she's being paid a shitload less. So she was she's a different ethnicity and a woman being underpaid. So it's just like it's a little fucked up, you know? Yeah. So that whole YouTube channel's gone, and he basically took her in, and now she like works for him, kinda.
Wow, that's a lot of context I never had. Did they ever explain that in a video, or was it just...
I think I read that somewhere on Reddit when it was all going down, and then like the next day he had a video with her.
Yeah. So there's one of his series now. It's called Stump Sola, and she's in every one of these videos. So it's becoming obvious that I haven't watched the first one. So I bet if they explained it in any way, it was in the first one.
Yeah, it might have been the first one. I personally don't like her on camera. Like I don't like her personality in her video. So like I don't typically watch her stuff, but I do think it's really cool that he like took her in and was just like, listen, I'm gonna pay you right. Like,
yeah. Well, that's really badass. Have any of you ever watched Star or Germa? I've heard of Germa.
I've heard of Germa too, but I don't know what it is.
Back to
well,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I didn't know if you were about to switch off of Ben.
No, I wasn't. I was gonna say one more thing about him, but you go ahead and say whatever you're gonna say.
Okay. Well, they asked what his reply was to what I emailed him. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the I don't even know what it was in. I think it was in the Green Arrow comics. He cooked a chili that was so hot that even Superman couldn't eat it. And I sent Babish that screenshot or that page, and I was like, hey, can you make this chili? And he emailed me back, and he was just like, man, I have actually looked at this before, and I cannot figure out for the life of me what makes it so hot. So I'm not going to make it. Yeah, that picture right there that Shakura just posted. And he was just like, man, the recipe's right there, and I cannot figure out for the life of me what makes this so hot. And like I didn't email him back, but I was just thinking, dude, that's what you do. You usually make the one in the show and then improve upon it with your own. And I was just like, this seems like the perfect idea, damn it. But he wouldn't cook it.
I guess he just doesn't really like super spicy chili, because I'm looking at his chili videos. He made the chili from The Office, and then he made some basics with Babish chili. So I don't know. He's got room to revisit chili, but I don't know for sure. So I actually also own his cookbook. I still haven't cooked anything from it, but I fully plan on it. Mostly because there have been times when he's made just simple stuff like fucking burgers and stuff like that. It's just like, you know, I really trust this guy to be the one that I'm gonna follow on these experiments. So I'll get back to you guys whenever I make something of his.
Yeah. I guess we should have done this from the start. Now that I think about it, we should have broke down our favorite YouTubers by genre.
Yeah, we probably should have.
While we're on food, let's just talk about a few more foodies that we watch, if you watch any others, because I do.
I have a transition, but I don't have another foodie, so you go ahead.
Okay, I won't go too far into them. I'm just going to throw their names out there for you guys listening. If you want to check them out, go for it. If you don't want to, I don't care. Not my channel. Sorted Food, they are really good. They're all in the UK, I believe. Somewhere over that way. They're really fun to watch. They're very interesting. Let me see who else I watch with food. Food Wishes, he's really good. I think that might be all the ones I watch.
This isn't
very possibly.
This isn't a food channel, but she has food in her name. I did want to mention Food for Dogs. Food for Dogs is a really interesting channel because it blew up because of just a random share on Reddit, essentially. But she's like this 60 or 70-year-old woman that runs a video game and anime channel. And she's just...
I think I've seen Joey talk about her.
Yeah, she's super fucking chill. And she is weirdly like a huge PlayStation Vita fangirl. So like one of the first videos of hers I watched was her breaking down and explaining the Jesus, I'm gonna have to find the video so that The first video of hers I watched was Xenoblade Chronicles: A Journey Through 10 Years and Presenting the Definitive Edition. And this video is 27 minutes long. It's her showing all of her collector's editions of Xenoblade games and explaining what makes each one better or worse than the last one. And it was not just interesting because it was this super old woman. It was also interesting because I actually learned enough about Xenoblade to kind of want to play them. like she just really breaks it down and just like, this one sold the most, but this is the one that the fans like the most. Like, this one clearly had a lot more going on than this one, but this one had this cool keychain.
Real quick, one more food one that we cannot go without mentioning is You Suck at Cooking.
Oh my god.
If you guys haven't watched You Suck at Cooking, go fucking watch You Suck at Cooking, because he's awesome.
Oh man. Does How To Basic count as a cooking channel?
I don't know what he counts as. Very weird.
All right,
so what do you want to talk about?
Well,
you said you
that was my transition because it was not food, but sort of food. Because like, I think I covered my lead video essayist, and I don't necessarily have any more. The rest of my content is either meme or review style content.
Okay,
and one of them is both.
All right, well, let's go back through. We're done with food. Let's just list the essayists that we talked about real quick.
Okay, so we talked about
Jakey.
I mentioned Every Frame of Painting.
You mentioned Every Frame of Painting.
I just closed some out, like Super Bunny Hop is a good one. Super Bunny Hop, I think you would like because he lives in Japan, or at least spent a lot of time in Japan. And I watched a few of his videos on like pachinko machines and like arcade games and stuff like that. But he has talked about like the Konami games as well. He's talked about Metal Gear as well. Shakuris mentions Jacob Geller. Jacob Geller is actually one of my subscriptions. Let's see. I'm trying.
I also mentioned Ahoy. I follow that one too.
Mm-hmm. Jacob Geller has an incredible video explaining the secrets hidden in Shadow of the Colossus that I have talked about on stream before. So that guy's great too.
I'm gonna go ahead and count these people as essayists, I guess they could technically fall under reviewers too. But I really like these are all anime tubers, or anitubers as they like to call themselves. But I like Joey the Anime Man. He's really good. His girlfriend Aki Dearest, she's really funny. Mother's Basement and Giga are the four that I watch. Like, I really like all four of them.
Before I leave the topic of video essayists, one that I am not sub to, but I'm literally going to subscribe to right now, is ContraPoints. And I have been told in the past by trans individuals that ContraPoints is canceled, and I don't give a shit because I love her. This person is the only reason I take trans people seriously now. like, and I'm gonna tell you why. I have this outstanding theory, and it's that some people, all it takes for them to like accept somebody is recognizing that they can be cool. It's so fucking stupid, but that's how I was with gay people, because like growing up, I had a family friend named Paula, and then one day I was just like, is Paula gay? Is she a lesbian? I was like, no, Paula can't be a lesbian. She's cool. Like, and it's just that stupid childish mentality. So when I found out later she was lesbian, I was like, oh, so gay people can be cool. And there's this clip of ContraPoints, and she's saying, people often ask me, do I feel like a woman or do I feel like a man? But honestly, I just feel like shit. and I was just like, dude, same. And from then on, I was just like, yeah, I guess me and trans people are cool. But the thing is that I actually sat down and watched her video essays, and they're great. They're fucking great. She has one really long one about cancel culture. She has one really long one about cringe culture that's actually really, really interesting, and talking about this weird fascination people have with watching other people's misfortunes and stuff. But I really do enjoy her stuff, so I wanted to mention her before I forgot.
How about Do you follow any, like, I don't know the best way to do this, so I guess we'll just combine science and technology.
Sure, yeah.
Do you follow anyone like that?
Almost no. I have occasionally watched clickbaity shit that's gotten shared with me. Like, I mentioned these guys earlier because they were in my recommended that made this big ass like homemade functional lightsaber, but I almost never watch stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I've got a few that I'll just throw out. We won't go through them heavily, but let me find one here. Mark Rober is an excellent one. If you just like bullshit science experiments, like he's just a big kid.
Yeah.
And his channel's fucking humongous. So Mark Rober is awesome. Smarter Every Day is awesome.
I know somebody.
Like 2 hours
yeah, I was about to say I know somebody who knows him personally.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's fucking cool. Primitive Technology is an amazing channel if you've never watched it. Now he hasn't uploaded in a long time. Like, hold on, I'm gonna check. He hasn't uploaded in 10 months now, which is completely crazy for him because he uploaded fairly frequently, like at least once a month. And people were finally just like, did COVID get him? Like, what's going on? And he finally had to type in his comment section. He's just like, guys, I'm working on a TV show. and if you'll go watch his stuff, you'll see why. Like, man, his channel's great. He's got 10 million subscribers. It's crazy. Like, I'm not even gonna tell you what he does. I just want you to go check it out if you're feeling froggy.
Hell yeah.
I guess this falls under that, but I've recently followed Yes Theory. I don't know how to explain them. If you'd like to go just check them out. Yeah, Shakuris, I was about to say Linus Tech Tips. I really, really like Linus Tech Tips. It gives me old school like G4 vibes of like call for help and stuff like that, which those guys have their own network now, twit.tv. But yeah, Linus Tech Tips I love. I think that's all the sciencey technology type of people I follow. Yeah, it looks like that might be all the ones that I can throw at you guys.
Is there any internet personality that you go to for reviews, or do you typically just get reviews from review sites?
Man, I used to. I just go. For a while, I thought I was basically cursed because like I would find a new YouTube channel or a new fucking reviewer or something, and then they would immediately go under, and I'd just be like, son of a bitch. But like for me, that was Game Trailers, dude. I loved the Game Trailers crew, and they eventually reorganized themselves as Easy Allies. And while it's a lot of the same type of stuff, it's nowhere near as good as it was when they were Game Trailers. Yeah. But I do really like Easy Allies reviews because I feel like they're not like crazy biased or anything. Like I trust their reviews pretty well.
Yeah, I used to watch Rev 3. I actually haven't checked back with them in so long. I think that they probably went under because I didn't really watch them until Adam Sessler joined them. And one of the first things he did was almost a little strangely self-serving because he was, fuck you, Shaq. I was trying to remember Adam Sessler's name. One of the first things Adam Sessler did was he changed their review scheme because they were doing reviews based on whether or not you should buy, borrow, or rent something, essentially. And he was like, well, no, it should be 1 to 5 because that's what I'm used to, and I consider games art. And I remember always having a problem with that, not because I don't consider games art. I do. It's just art. Video games are also a product. And so when you're living on a budget, getting it boiled down to whether or not you should buy, borrow, or review it is actually pretty beneficial. So to be real, my reviews aren't even reviews anymore. I watch just funny content of creators playing games, and I just kind of decide for myself from there, just looking at it. Like, Girlfriend Reviews is one of my favorite fucking channels right now, and their videos are not reviews. Like, she even says up front every video, this is not a review of this game. This is a review of what it's like to live with somebody playing this game. And it's from there, it's not even that. It's just a comedy video. But I kind of make it up for myself as I go along after that because I take their thoughts and I just move on. But yeah, if you haven't checked out Girlfriend Reviews, they're really fucking funny. They're really charming. They blew up overnight, essentially, and they don't really know what to do with their fame, so they're just making good content. Like, I really like him. Now, if you want a super serious review with no memes, you're going to want Video Game Donkey.
Dude, true, though. Okay, how about musical people? Do you follow anybody who like either does covers or
I still follow Tom Scott Bradley, which is essentially what the fuck is the name of that shit? It's one of those YouTubers that like their channel name is not actually accurate anymore, or they've changed it. Scott Bradley's Postmodern Jukebox. Postmodern Jukebox is a channel that they do big band covers of popular songs in the styles of older music. And they have very professional fucking musicians on every time doing it. Sometimes they'll have celebrities on. Like one thing, if I can find it, let's see, Postmodern Jukebox, Wayne Brady.
no.
Wayne Brady sang Thriller in the style of a 1930s jazz song. So, you know, I really like Postmodern Jukebox. A lot of times whenever I listen to a cover of a song that's kind of out of genre, it will get me to pay more attention to the lyrics of the song. So I've really enjoyed their stuff in terms of a musical channel.
Right. I follow a few 330 or 331 e-rock. Weird name, but he basically takes anything video game related. Actually, it's mostly video games, but he does some other shit too, and he does like metal versions of them. And he's really talented. It's really good. Let's see, what else have I got? Oh, Eddie. I guess you pronounce his name Eddie Vondermeer, but he occasionally shows up on Joey the Anime Man's channel. But he's a really, really good guitarist. I forget what you call the type of playing where you also kind of tap on the guitar.
Oh,
where you treat it like a drum nearly.
I don't know what that's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of what that's called. But he makes some fucking awesome songs. Hold on, I'm gonna actually link one. I've posted this and listened to this before, but that's Eddie. He covered the opening of Tokyo Ghoul, and this is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. I actually do not like the original. Like I've tried. Like after I heard his, I went and listened to the original one. I was like, this is not close to the same, but I love his. It is fucking gorgeous.
Hell yes.
And then we got Family Jewels. I'm sure most people have heard of Family Jewels. He does a lot of video game covers and like makes them metal as well, just like 331 E-Rock. And there's always Neil Cicerega.
God, I've been thinking a lot lately about how like dumbass funny music mashups are really like core to us to the point that we don't even realize it. Like Bustin', like that's a big reason why I was pushing Buster as a fan name for a long time, was largely just that fucking song.
Jeez.
I love that goddamn song. And then, you know, Mouth Dreams is out now, and Shakuris is quoting the lyrics to probably the funniest song on there. But Mouth Dreams is good. It's not as good as his other stuff, but it is good. I went through and listened to a bunch of it today.
Yeah, I don't think it's as good as other stuff either, but there are a couple of really good ones on there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess now is as good a time as ever. We've been through basically every genre I can think of. I might scroll through here and find something that we need to mention later. Maybe you can edit it together, or we can just like do a roundup at the end. But I guess let's go ahead and talk about these damn anime girls.
Yeah, I would love to. So VTubers. I'm trying to think of like how I saw this first, because I think I saw it and became like halfway aware of it and just wasn't really paying it any attention. And then I think Artemis or somebody else asked one day, Jesse, are you technically a VTuber? Because for years, my like online webcam persona has been through like literally 11 different filters to try to create this space face persona so that I could remain at least partially anonymous. At this point, it's just because I fucking like it. But to answer your question, now that I know more about VTubers, unfortunately, I cannot call myself one. because this is very clearly like a mocap 3D model thing. And that's what we're seeing, is that we're seeing people who are doing their own mocap acting, they're doing their own vocal performing, and they're playing the game, but their on-screen presence is of this like flawless 3D anime character. And I've been really trying to analyze why that's even appealing. Because there's a part of me that's just like, well, why isn't it just you? Like, clearly the reason we like you is because you're funny or you're different. You have a good personality. Your voice sounds good. But I do honestly think that the fact that they are a flawless 3D anime person or 2D anime person gives them a lot of bonus points that we weren't seeing before. Like almost to the point of this like airbrushed flawless model presence of this is why people who are even slightly overweight can't get a job in the modeling industry, is because we've hyper scrutinized perfection. And so that's essentially what it is. It's just like, well, what if y'all?
Yeah, I don't know. It reminds me of like gotcha games, and like Giga, one of the Anitubers who's also on Trash Taste podcast, he puts it a real interesting way. He's just like, these gotcha games are stupid, but like, yeah, I might drop some money for a picture of my waifu. Like, put fucking cute anime girls in it, and people might spend money.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's a major part of this VTuber phenomenon, because like, I'm not gonna sit here and call these girls ugly because I've never seen them, but like that very well could be a part of it. She could be totally fucking below average looking, and like that even matters to begin with. But like you said, we've got this perfectly cute dog girl playing fucking Banjo-Kazooie saying 𝐂𝐻𝐈𝐒𝐄𝐍, and I'm just like, this is the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Well, what's funny is it comes back to what you and I have argued about in the past, and the power of a thumbnail is that if this is just an ordinary, like, again, it doesn't matter what you look like except when it does. And if you're a 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5 trying your goddamn best to get big on stream, maybe not going to be as popular as if you were a literal flawless anime girl.
Yeah. Now, I already kind of said it earlier. I can't sit down and watch one of their streams for real because it's all in Japanese. I don't understand it. There's no subtitles. Like it's not like, I can watch anime that's subtitled. That's fine. But like, they're just live streaming, no fucking subtitles, all Japanese. Can't understand them. I still love it because she's fucking adorable. But she'll occasionally do these English only streams where she'll stream as long as she can, usually playing Mario so far, and she'll stream it until she accidentally says a Japanese word, and then she cuts stream.
Yeah, I watched a highlight video of one of those earlier today, actually.
Yeah. Because she'll do it as best she can to like try and practice her English, and then she'll slip up and say one, and she'll usually end. I've seen it to where she just ended out of nowhere. She get like real sad looking, and then just clicks end. And I was just like, well, that's cute, but very depressing.
Yeah. And to respond to what Artemis said, there's a bunch of English ones now. Yes, I actually watched some Gargura, if that's how you pronounce her name. And immediately Gargura emoji in the chat.
Yeah, she's the only English one so far that I can tolerate. The rest of them are pretty cringe to me, but she's kind of adorable.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't necessarily like... It's funny because I think I wanted to make fun of it, and then I watched it, and I pretty quickly went, "This is no more degenerate than anything else I like." Like,
okay, I didn't exactly go that route, but like I was in basically the same boat that Mayo is talking right now. I was just like, "This is cringe. This is gay. No, thank you." And then she started playing fucking Banjo-Kazooie, and I caught it on Twitter, and I was like, huh, that's too cute. That's just too cute.
Yeah.
But she led me to find, like, her name's Korone. I guess that's how you say it. It's Korone. Korone. But, or Korone, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Korone. Okay, so I had it right the first time. Okay, well, she's like buddy, almost suspiciously buddy with this other VTuber named Okayu, who is a cat girl. And I don't really like her per se, but I went ahead and followed her anyway because oddly enough, her voice is like, I don't know, she sounds like she's got like that sexy librarian voice, if that makes any sense. Like, yeah, her voice is very nice. Every time I watch her, she's usually just talking about shit. Like, I never catch her playing video games, almost ever. So, like, I'm thinking about unfollowing her because, like, I don't even really catch, like highlights of her because she's almost always either singing or just talking. And I'm just like, you know, I could deal without this. And then the only other Japanese one I follow is 𝐂𝐿𝐒, and I just followed her the other day. And boy, she is something else. Like, she's actually really funny. I didn't know how funny she was, and that's why I followed her. But like, she'll just freak out. She like, I think she's the one that does reviews of her own lewds, and that is hilarious to me. Oh no, that's hot. Okay, so that's the wrong one. I think she reviews Does Kiria review like her subreddit memes? Is that what she does? She does something like that. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's what she does. And then, like I said, the only English one I follow is that little shark girl, because I don't know, the rest of them just haven't caught me the way she has. Like, she's adorable, but she's been playing Minecraft a lot lately, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to fucking watch Minecraft. I'm like Minecraft out for life, I think. I will go ahead and say that I don't understand fully how this technology works. Like, I know it's like this ring type thing they wear over their head, or at least that's one way to do it. And then it projects this 3D model over their body, right? So, like, it can tell when their eyes are open and closing and when their mouth moves. But, like, there's a website out there where you can go and you can just download these avatars. Like we could fucking have one.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't understand how that works. Like, do you have to pay for that avatar? Are they free use? Like, I'm sure all the ones that HoloLive uses, they own it. Like that company probably made her dog girl for her, you know?
Yeah. I kind of perceive
I'm sure
it.
they own the image.
Like before I was like, why the fuck is this an agency? Like, why is this a talent agency? Also, almost as if it's like an in-universe thing, like these characters are real people. And it's probably because they did a casting call and developed characters, and it's just like, okay, the 3D modeling we do for you, we own that character and you are portraying that character. And I feel like I watched a video essay about the history of this. I feel like the one before that, this AI thing that we were talking about, they were talking about in chat earlier, they experimented with the notion of her having multiple personalities so that they could swap voice actors when necessary. And that's kind of something I've been curious about, is that, like, if they need to let somebody go, if they can just have somebody else take over the role of the character.
Yeah, and that's fascinating to me, like, that they're basically turning these people into their own, like, anime universe canon people. Like,
yeah.
Like, they even play together and, like, have Minecraft servers together and shit.
Yeah.
So, like, it's super fascinating to me.
Well, where this kind of, like, comes back to Bro Op per se is that while I am not a VTuber, I do have an on-screen presence and character, right? And Candy and I were talking about this because we're going to be commissioning her some art for Lady Lazarus, since so far Chase and I are the only ones that have anything resembling an on-screen presence. I don't remember exactly what it was we were saying, but I was like, well, jGatzB as a character, like, his whole allure is that he's just a fucking failure. Like, and we kind of had a laugh about it, but I was just like, I mean, that's really what it is, though, is that, like, being on stream essentially creates a caricature of you based on the experiences that you've had. So, like jGatzB is just an inept, clumsy buffoon. And I was like, and I don't know about Lazarus. And she was like, well, honestly, Lazarus is just me, but a little bit more confident. She's like, I don't know why, but whenever I get on stream, I actually feel comfortable enough to say a lot more stuff than I normally would. And I do like that. I like this exploration into who we are as on-screen characters is not necessarily completely fictional, but we have been able to observe how different it is from our real life day-to-day. What's the best note to go out on? We've talked about what we don't like about YouTube, and we've talked about our favorite content creators. Do we need to talk about where we think YouTube should go, where we should go as YouTubers? Do we need to talk about
who would you say is your overall favorite YouTuber? Like somebody you could go back through and watch their whole catalog over and over.
Well, it's Game Grumps, so that's almost cheating because they have so much.
Well, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, like, it's funny for me to be able to say this, and I feel like it shows a lot of growth for me as a person. But, like, Aaron Hansen directly hurt my feelings. I have had, like, direct vocal conversation with Aaron Hansen in which he really hurt my feelings. And I still really like that channel because it's nothing personal. Like, I'm just another dude. I actually I saw something earlier where like he has like huge problems with stalkers and shit. So like if all I have is like a brief moment to moment interaction and he assumes that I'm some crazy person and dismisses me, like what the fuck ever. But I've been so impressed by the tone of their channel, and I am kind of terrified of what the behind the scenes looks like, because I know from personal experience how hard it is to maintain a business that is based around cozy friend hangs. Because when you're trying to base a brand and business around cozy friend hangs, it's very easy to go, this doesn't feel cozy. This feels like work. And it's just like, yeah, because sometimes you have to do work. Like, and I feel like that they probably have had their share of that drama. I feel like if you followed JonTron's exit at all, you know that they had to have, especially if you've ever done a deep dive into like the events leading up to it, because like they're on screen. He specifically said, I'm only doing this for you now. I'm not having fun anymore. And it's just so impressive to me that they've managed to keep it going for so long. Because
who said that to him?
JonTron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought for a minute I thought you'd said Danny was to that point, and I was like, oh damn.
Is there a video on the JonTron exit? There's probably several.
Not by them.
Yeah, not yeah. There's still a mystery about it, but the mystery somewhat subsided because JonTron put out a video that had Aaron in it, and that was essentially his attempt at being like, hey, y'all, like, we're not actively avoiding each other. But the thing is that there's the big missing piece of the puzzle that you would need to know is not necessarily hidden. It's just they've never talked about it on JonTron or on Game Grumps, but JonTron has talked about it in interviews, and it's that there's an NDA. Like, they have a non-disclosure agreement. Like, they can't talk about it. And they probably created an NDA because whatever argument they had was serious enough that if we knew about it, we would probably change our opinions about these people individually.
Yeah. What's so shocking to me, it's kind of like how Pro Jared made it out okay, is I'm so surprised that Game Grumps made it out okay, because people were skeptical of Danny when he first come in, but there is no better person that could have took that spot now. Yeah,
I think there's actually a video before the swap when Aaron admits that he would probably go to Danny next. I think I remember them talking about it. Like, if one of us were to get sick or something, I think I would probably talk to Danny. And I think JonTron was like, oh, I love Danny. Like, I think it was just that simple.
Well, what's crazy to me, like, I'd never heard of JonTron until Game Grumps. And now, like, JonTron splitting from them is probably the best thing that ever happened to him. He has over 1 million more subs than Game Grumps now. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, talking about what Shaq said about, I don't really support the beliefs he had on Twitter. That's one of the most fascinating things about this whole content creator thing, is that if your job is to be an internet personality, then a big piece of whether or not you're able to continue to do your job is whether or not people can reconcile you versus your opinions. And that's so interesting to me, because we've not hidden our opinions. We have some rules like on stream that we don't really talk about politics, but sometimes it comes up. I know JonTron got in trouble for saying some shit that he since apologized for and essentially recanted for. But I hope that when it comes down to us, and whether or not you have to reconcile our content versus our opinions, all you need to know is this: Chase and I disagree on almost everything and still love each other. So, like, just settle into that being the tone of the channel.
Yeah. I'm of two minds of it. Like, I at the same time, I think, you know, like, if somebody were out here, like, I don't know, raping kids or something, then you can't just say, oh, we'll just separate the creator from the creation. You're probably not going to be able to get around that in your head, you know. But if somebody has a different political view than you, who gives a fuck? Like who really cares? Like, I can still enjoy a JonTron video, even if he were to come out as like crazy racist. I'd still be like, man, his videos are fucking funny. Like, it would not bother me the slightest. And then the other, you know, side of it, I'm just like, keep that shit off your Twitter. Like, if you want to talk about that stuff, talk about it to your friends. Like, you don't have to put that out there for the world.
Yeah, I've got to agree, at least with, you know, if you don't want to engage with that topic, you don't need to necessarily share it. But like, anything I've ever shared with our fans have been things that I have been completely willing to engage with the subject. And I'm going to let you know, there is literally only one opinion I've ever shared with the community that the community attacked me for that really hurt my feelings, and it was whether or not water is wet. And y'all can all suck my dick and go to hell.
That's funny.
All right, well, it's coming up on anime time.
It is. It's almost anime time.
For those of you listening to this later, we host a community watch party every Sunday. Chase is currently the one hosting it. Chase, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching Evangelion episode 9. It's the one where they have to work together through the music, and it's probably my favorite episode.
Now, I'll go ahead and let you know, if you're listening to this after we did it live, you've already missed that episode.
You've probably missed the next fucking 10 episodes by the time this goes up.
But you should still swing by our Discord, join the community, and watch some shows every now and then. Maybe a movie. But, hell yeah. All right.
Yeah, Batman.
Hell yeah, Batman. Thank you so much, Super64, as always, for hosting this podcast. We were talking before you even showed up about how much we've enjoyed the kind of random topic format. And I think sometimes we beat ourselves up about the organization, but I don't think it's that big of a deal, really. I think we're doing all right.
No, I beat the organization. Organization 13. Whoop their ass.
Stealing the Keyblade? Hell no!
No!